I'm going to be doing the replay. I'm going to be doing replay of the Twitter Spaces. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll get this thing started. Do I have it over in another channel? All right, here we go. Thank you, folks. I hope you enjoy, and I will be checking in and back at the end of the video. Peace. This is probably not a long one, but it's what is it? Thursday, August 18th, 2022. This will be a recorded Spaces. This will also be uploaded to my YouTube channel later. So if you're listening on replay, thanks for hanging out. Let me know what you think in the chat room. If you're here live, it's great to have you. What I want to do is I want to hear from you. You know, don't take all night, but jump up, say your top comment, your top question, and we'll just kind of get a little conversation going. I'm going to bring you up, and I would just kindly ask you to wait until I call you. Just kind of let me handle the muting, unmuting, all that good stuff. So I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. You probably know that. Consider following me there. Check out my YouTube. Tons of great videos. If you want to get serious about trading and TA, join Bitcoin Live. There's nothing better than it. So anyway, thanks for stepping up today. Let's see. I thought it'd be a good time to chat here. I'm just hanging out. Hit request. We're still getting this Spaces up and running. Barely 100 of you right now. I'm going to send out a tweet. Let's see. Send out a tweet. Join and ask questions. That's what I'm going to say. That's what it's all about. And just not just ask questions. Tell me what you're thinking. I love these Spaces. If this is your first one, you really need to go watch. I have a playlist now on YouTube with I put them all up there. We have great conversations, and so it was funny. If you look at the one I did 2 times ago, it was like at the nut top for Ethereum, and everyone was like total FOMO. Hold on. So if you look at that, every question, it was like the peak top for enthusiasm, right? So every question was about Ethereum, and it basically, and then people were like, I can't wait any longer. I've waited as long as I could, and now I'm in. So it's interesting. You really do want to look at sentiment as well as the technicals, and this helps me with sentiment, hearing from you. So if you're out there listening to the conversation, please hit request. I want to bring you up into the conversation. Do not be shy. It's hard to know what someone's really saying when they tweet and they reply. It's just some characters on the screen. It's hard to put context into it. So I really do enjoy hearing from you. So please hit request. And I want to bring you in on the conversation. I see some old friends in here as well. I see some new people. I'm going to add a few of you now. Why don't you just wait for your turn, and we'll kind of go from there. All right. Ebram, I always see you, buddy. I got you, brother. I know everyone's eager to come up, but I get to everyone. I really do. So let's start out with Cardinal. What's going on, Cardinal? What would you like to say? Neither BRB. You're an old timer as well. What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It was good.
Good. So what's your question today?
Yeah, people have been talking about the Ethereum merge. Yeah, and people have also been talking about the merge failing. What would it mean for the merge to fail? Like, what does that even mean?
I mean, so there's a lot of better. I mean, this is probably the worst Spaces to come to if you want to learn about the FA of the merge, because I don't really know. I've been listening to other ones. It could be that I guess the new chain isn't accepted, or the vacant chain. There could be problems down the line. There could be problems right away. I really don't know. I mean, I'm not the right person to answer that question, but I do know that there are variables, and certain fail points, but there's strategies to make sure those things don't happen. So, unfortunately, I don't have a great answer for you on that, but thank you for stepping up, buddy. Crypto Boat, what's going on, man? Crypto Boat, what would you like to say today? Crypto Boat, it's your turn, man.
Hey, how you doing, Armchair?
I'm hanging in there. How about you?
Not bad. Yeah, I have been following your post, and I'm getting better.
Good,
And
good.
yeah, my question is, so like when it when it comes to leverage, right? Like how like how big you think that a person should go so that the person don't like shake out or
Yeah,
get scared when the price start moving up and down.
I like 2 to 3x leverage.
Okay,
It's nice and comfortable for me. You got to figure out what works for you. There's times I'll do more, of course, and you can experiment with position size. I mean, if you go really high leverage, have like a really small position. But I don't like to do high leverage. I'm not really looking to get like stopped out. I mean, look at the candles we're dealing with here in crypto. We get a lot of these, what are called high wave candles. We have a long upper and lower shadow, right? Long like doji, high wave spinning top, some type of a funky looking hammer or shooting star gravestone. We get these like big wick candles. So when you go high leverage, you don't really give yourself much room for error. So I think if you're gonna do leverage, which you probably shouldn't, but go like 2 or 3x
okay,
and stick to your stop loss.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, man. That's a great question. It's great to have you up here. Listen, you folks, you're listening, but you're not requesting to speak. You're slacking. Okay. I want to hear from you. I've got 100 people, 200 people who are not speaking, right? And just a few brave souls. I would love for you to hit request. I want to hear what you think. Don't be shy. Just let me know what's going on. This is what it's all about. So next up we have Gavin. Gavin, what's going on?
What's up, Chaz?
Hey,
um,
dude. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Awesome. So first and foremost, wanted to just say thanks for all the stuff you put out. I feel like I'm learning a lot. Specifically, thanks for that Chili's call. I made some good money on that. And
Chili's?
that so I've read your book, and I read that, or I
Oh,
started to read
CHZ.
the.
CHZ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was
I,
like, Chili's. I don't remember like the restaurant. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, I got that. Those ribs. No, I'm kidding.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I
Okay.
also started the Japanese candlestick charting techniques book that you recommended, and I'm about halfway through or a third of the way through. So forgive me if this comes up in that book, but I was just curious on how you build your watch list, because I had heard of
Yeah.
Chili's, but it was kind of just a
Yeah.
random coin in my mind. So naturally, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of coins, but how do you
Yeah.
sift down to ones that you want to watch?
So that's a great question. I'm always looking for relative strength or relative weakness, and kind of easy way to do that is you can like sort by percentage change on like coin market cap or on like whatever exchange you're trading on. Like that will have, a certain number of pairs you can trade. So you just kind of like, you know, I have my core watch list and it's not big. And those are the ones, it's relative strength participants. It's the strongest alts. Like right now it's the stuff trading above the daily MA 200. Like that's, I'm going to watch the bullish stuff. CHZ's in there, QNT, TRP, TRB, Ethereum Classic, the stuff that's above the 200, I'm watching closer. And so, because all of my trades, I want them to come from charts I'm familiar with. So I don't try not to bounce around a lot. But, have to keep replenishing the list, keeping it fresh, removing underperformers. And so you can sort on like whatever exchange by percentage move and just look at it. And sometimes there's something there and sometimes there's not. So that will give you something you may have never heard of before just by doing it that way. And also honestly, it's Bitcoin Live because like twice a week, no matter what, I'm doing a market update and I do all the altcoin requests, and they'll request the ones I've never heard of. And like once in a while, it's a good chart. Usually there's some pretty tough looking stuff because we fall in love with these projects and just kind of ride a downtrend. But every once in a while, maybe at least once a week, every 2 weeks, I'll find like a new one I haven't heard of, and then okay, that's something interesting, and then I'll start watching that regularly. So that's my method. I would have a small watch list and then highly curate it, taking out underperformers, play just the relative strength stuff, and then just kind of sort by percentage change, and that will give you some ideas.
Awesome. Thanks, Chad. And do you have a promo code or like a referral code for the Bitcoin Live? I was taking a look, but it looked like you
Yeah.
could put in a
If
referral link as well.
you look at the top of this spaces,
Uh,
there's I should have mentioned there's a tweet. It says new follower packet.
oh, nice.
It has textbook recommendations. It has links to free videos, and then it has the Bitcoin Live link. So it's all right here in one. And it's got like scammer warnings. Like I'm not on Telegram. I'm not on Discord. You know what I mean? I'm not on Instagram. I'm just, Bitcoin Live, Twitter, and YouTube. So check that tweet.
Awesome. I'll check it out. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for stepping up, folks. Listen, I want to hear from you. I see some old folks. Let's get some new folks in here. There's only about 6 people who want to speak. Please hit request. I'm going to bring you up, and we're just hanging out. It's you and Cheds, so don't be shy. I want to see some more people here stepping up. So, Ebram, it's your turn, man. Thanks for being patient.
Hey, Shats, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm all right. It's almost bedtime here. I just wanted to come and say hi. And maybe I have a question, or maybe I have something to say, because somebody asked about using leverage. And if I am allowed to say something, nothing has got me wrecked as much as using leverage. So my tip here is, if you're going to do that and you're going to use leverage, have a thesis, know when to exit the trade. Your loss is going to be magnified because you're using leverage, but cut the loss very quickly. If you just ride it all the way and hope that it's going to come back in the direction you thought it's going to go, it's probably not going to do that, and you're going to get liquidated. So do not do that. That is just my tip for people who are new and are using leverage because they want to make some money.
Yeah, the first tip is don't do it if you're new, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I have a question, because I was thinking about this. So we always say that we either bottom or we top where we see the most volume.
Yeah.
And if I'm using something like TradingView, I think it shows us the volume in terms of the amount of coins traded, and not in the amount of US dollars, for example. But as the price drops significantly, like if a coin drops 80%, 90%, it's only natural that the volume of the coins traded is going to go up. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we have more money in the market. Does that make sense? Because I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm trying to understand.
Well, market
how
cap,
do we know that there's
right? It's volume times like price, right? So the price is, the price. You have 2 variables there. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But you also have market forces you have a dynamic definition of what it's worth versus the fever versus the availability, the supply and demand equilibrium. Like all that's like fluid. So that allows for kind of an equal force even. So you have to have a little bit of a flexible approach if you're thinking about that.
right. But the thing that I'm trying to get to is, what is the indicator, or maybe it's a combination of things that I should look at so that I could tell that there is now more money flowing into the market, so that I know that the players are coming back.
Coin Market Cap, I think, has a daily, like, whatever money flow thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of like tools like that available. Just the one off the top of my head would be that in Coin Market Cap, but I don't do that. I don't do any of that stuff. I just look for volume on the chart, relative volume relative to its own recent volume, volume on the key candlesticks, volume on the bounce, volume on the breakout. It's kind of looking at all the different clues, but I'm trying not to look too much outside the chart personally. Just especially given how clean Bitcoin's traded, like, especially since November. Clean to the moving averages, right? Both in the weekly and in the daily, especially the EMA 34. So, and we're getting good signals. I just put out a tweet about the outside bars. I mean, those have been pretty dead on here. So we're getting some good tradable signals if you've done a little bit of the homework and you understand, what the candlesticks are telling you in relation to the Bollinger Bands, all that good stuff. But yeah, anyway, so I'm just looking at, my method is volume. I'm not looking at kind of an aggregate, what's going on here today. I get a sense of that in my mind because I'm looking at, 10 or 15 things, all the time. And I know if they're boring days versus not boring days. So, I guess that's how I approach it.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for stepping up, and thanks for the good advice for the new guys. Chromage, what's up, Chromage? It's great to have you in here. Your turn to speak, buddy. Chromage.
Hey, thanks for all you do. First off, my question centers around, I know you actually just mentioned it, but you've spoken a lot around like the daily EMA 34 and it seems we're testing it, and it's also kind of confluence with the 200 week as well. So this seems kind of like a make or break level to kind of sit and watch for the time being. As far as, I guess, just a signal, because oftentimes there's, fake outs or different things. Would you be looking more to see a breakdown and come back up to like this area of confluence and then see another breakdown before we're going lower?
Yeah, I'm kind of level. You're asking the right questions. I'm kind of level to level, and what I've been saying is we're in a relief rally that's really strong. Relief rally from 17.5, and the way I try to conceptualize it is, let's say there's, in the effort to be a bull after that 17.5 bounce, there's let's say 10 checkpoints. 21, 21.5, 22. EMA, the MA50, the May 12th low at 25.5, the 28K zone, and then the daily MA200, right? That's the ultimate checkpoint, because that's where this type of move failed last time at the end of March. So we're still looking at the price action in that similar context as we were back in February, March, that we were sideways attempting to break out, and we're doing that. And so you have checkpoints, right? Because that was the last checkpoint. So everything up to that still could be a bear rally. In that, we have these series of higher highs and higher lows, right, in this channel. So that's tradable, and so you're watching to see if and when that breaks, right? So support, you're watching 22.5, the higher low, the really important one. And then you're seeing if you can keep making new highs, or do what we just did with these two outside bars with the up thrust. I mean, that doesn't look good. That's kind of exactly what we did November 10th. And I put out a tweet that has the same kind of setup, even though the context is different, of course. So could we rally here? Sure. And go to 2028, 30K. Let's see, MA 200. But for me, I'm just level to level. I'm watching to see, do we hold 22.5 and continue to follow through from this bearish signal that we just got a few days ago.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Thanks to you, man. You got to stay above the weekly MA 200. We're kind of testing it right now. I mean, that's really important as well. So, all right. Thanks for stepping up. Let's see. Meta Banks. What's going on, man?
How you doing, brother?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think you already answered my question. I just wanted to hear your opinion on the market, and pretty much we testing the levels that I was looking at, and also I'm also looking at the 22,500 as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I wanted to hear from you. I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate
Thank you so much.
man. All right. I
Yeah.
hope you do well. Thank you.
You too.
All right, Trom, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Hey, Chads. Good to see you too, man. Question for you. I saw like a small tweet just about the 5-minute chart earlier. I was wondering, as far as your time frames, like what do you typically trade on? And then I guess which ones you just completely avoid, as far as I obviously know the longer time frames are much stronger, but I wondered just personally what you really look at.
What's the other rule of thumb, though? What's the other rule of thumb? The other rule of thumb is that when the price is at a key level, you drop to lower time frames. So like, let's say the resistance on coin X is 100, and it goes to 100, rejects 95, 100, 95, 100, right? Now it does that. When it's right back at 100, you go to low time frame, right? That when your price is at a key level, that's when you go to low time frame, right? Not kind of in the middle of the channel, but when it's right at the major levels. That's the other rule of thumb. And then there's one more rule of thumb, which is the third one, after volatility. So I always say when I'm asked this question in the spaces, if by the end of this spaces the Bitcoin drops $2,000, you're going to want to pull up a 1-hour chart, and you're going to start to watch it and look for higher lows, look for EMA 8 recapture, look for something to form. So that's what you do after volatility and at key levels, right? So that's what you want to know. I pretty much trade off like the 4-hour, 1 hour for the most part. I don't really go below that. 4 hours really good. 4 hour really, it's just always been a good signal if you're looking to kind of catch the move and not get too faked out. You can see the trend changing a little bit, like daily with the 4 hour, understanding what the daily's doing, obviously in relation to the weekly, but it's the 4 hour is what you're kind of, up thrust, spring, some type of formation. 4 hours pretty solid. So usually you don't get too faked out. But below that, I think you can get into some trouble. There are much better traders than me out there who use 5, 10, 15 minute or whatever 3 minute. I know a guy, Joe Saz, he was trading off like the 3 second chart, like literally, and like order flow and all that. So there's like a million ways to do it. I just kind of talk about what works for me based on my understanding of TA. So, all right. Let's see. Thanks for the question, Mahir Huncho. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Hey, this is my third time talking to you, and I just want to say thank you for everything that you do for us and always answering questions. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. So my question today was, how many hours a day do you spend trading? Because, like, I see myself checking the chart at the gym. I see myself checking it every 5 minutes. Then I panic and whatnot, or I'm like I'm excited, or I'm just always glued to it, whether if it's at home or at my computer or at my phone. So how do you control that where you're not so like this became my life? Every beat up or beat down, like depends where am I in the trade affects me.
I mean, I live, sleep. I mean, it's what I do. I mean, I'm if I'm awake, I'm looking at it. It's the first thing I look at when I'm awake, and the last thing before I go to bed, because it's my job, and it's my hobby right now too. And so I'm to be good. I have to be really good. And I know there's people who literally have me on alert, like whatever. It's crazy. I was at dinner with my family. I'm like, if I tweet something, like people in the world, like their phone rings, so it has to be
That's
good and important,
I'm one of
right?
them. Yes, I'm one of them.
So I'm trying not to be like put out nonsense. So, but I need to know when big things happen. I just tweeted out Bitcoin's testing the weekly 200. Like that's so I need to know when these moments happen. I'm ambitious. I want to continue to grow my brand. I want to get better. Practice makes perfect. I do Bitcoin Live twice a week, so I have to be on top of my game. So I do it all the time, but like I don't have to trade all the time. If there's not opportunity, I do a lot of I have a ton of hobbies. I'm always fishing. I'm working in my yard, playing basketball, playing video games. I'm working on my book. I'm going to finish my third book this year. So, I've got and I'm working out, bike riding, whatever. But I'm always stopping and check the price, for like a minute and get back on the bike. So,
Right.
I found my balance. Maybe I need to work better at it, but that's what I do. But that's what I have to do. So everyone's different. I think you should. If you feel like it's owning you, then you're not in control, and you need to be in control in every aspect of trading. Like when you define your risk, when you take a stop loss, when you have a smaller position, you enter, you're controlling things. You feel in control. You need to be in control. And if you're doing it all the time and it's owning you, that's not good. So, you should never have a larger trade than you can just walk away from and not think about it too much. Don't let it own you.
Right.
So there's all those little things you can do to kind of work with that.
Right. And one more thing, when it comes to TA, I always feel like you can never learn it all. And that's somewhat discouraging for me. Like, how do you, like, sometimes, like,
What do you mean?
chart. So, like, sometimes the Bollinger Band might say something, but, like, the EMAs might say something else, or the RSI might say something else.
Yeah, then you don't take that trade. Like
Okay.
you take a clean, obvious trade. Like an opportunity is going to jump up and hit you in the face.
Okay.
All right. Everything else is a forced trade. All right, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much again for everything you do.
Great questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to try to power through these. Hit request. I don't care who you are. Don't be shy. I'm just hanging out. I've got at least another 40 minutes. I want to hear from you. Step up. You can see these conversations are fun. They're cordial. They're informative. What's up, Stagflation?
Hey, Cheds. Thanks so much for the opportunity. Respect your work, and I think you're building a big brand, a good brand as well. Just curious, you had mentioned price level around 22,400 this week, I think a couple of days ago in a tweet. Just curious if you were looking at the bottom range of the Bollinger Band on the daily for that level. Thanks again.
Well, so I have, it's more, if you look at and thanks for your commentary, look at the July 8th high, right? You remember, we were trying to bottom. We kind of did that double bottom, or we tried to here. And we had the long leg doji in July 8th. The top of that is basically 22.5, which happens to be the low from August 4th, the one we're watching. So you've got you got a little something there. You've got a decent data point. It's not overwhelming, but that's a level to watch for momentum. And it would correspond also with the MA50. That gives you a little bit bigger of a level. Now Confluence MA50. Now Confluence lower Bollinger Band. So now we see a big level building up. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks for that. Just a quick follow-on question there. You had mentioned a few questions ago in an answer that one space to look at, like lower time frame levels, is at key levels. Yeah. Would you then say maybe the 22,400, 22,500 is maybe one of those key levels?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That would be a textbook point for that. Really. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll check that out later tonight if price keeps dropping. Thanks again, Cheds.
Thank you, dude. Thanks a lot. Folks, I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. Please consider following me there if you do not already. Please go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's a ridiculous grind. But it's fun. It's just, Anyway, so let's move on. I'd love to hear from you. Next up we have Easy RKS.
Hey, Big Cheds, how's it going, man?
Good, pretty good. How are you doing?
Great, man. First of all, thank you for all your educational materials. I really appreciate your kind of common sense approach, looking at different time levels and taking into account different factors. So I'm pretty new to trading. So I was looking at the larger time frames and seeing kind of the divergence on balance. On the volume and whatnot, and then seeing the outside bars. So I set a thesis. I took a short on one of the outside bars. I've done well. My thesis was that it would go down and hit the bottom of the Bollinger Band, which it did. So my question is, kind of, how do you operate with your thesis? Because now I've done it. It looks good, but I'm starting to see new data appear around kind of the EMA 34, getting close to the MA 200 and whatnot. The stuff you've been tweeting about. But there's still kind of a little bit of a gap before I have the conviction that I would take another short. Basically getting to that kind of 22.5 that you were just talking about. Would you, I've already moved my stop losses into profit. Would you kind of stay in it and see what happens, or would you close out and then wait for the next thesis? Thank you so much.
So actually, I had a phone call. I missed your question. Can you summarize again briefly? I'm sorry for those who did not.
Yeah. So when you set a thesis and it realizes, so I set my thesis that would go down and visit the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. I took a short in one of the outside bars. So I've realized it, but now I'm seeing new data. Closing below the EMA 34, getting close to the MA 200, getting close to that 22.5 range. Would you just kind of wait to see what develops and stay in your position, or close it out and then get enough information to have confirmation and reopen a new one?
You're long or short here?
Short.
From what level?
Yeah, short. I got in about 24.2, and I had a stop loss at like 25.5.
So is it still there?
And I've
is your stop loss
moved
still
into
there?
profits.
All right.
Into profits.
Yeah. So what you can go go to the beach. I mean, so we're talking about like having a good decision to make. So let's just use a trailing stop loss. I mean, do you have the ability to break up your position? This is why I like to have not just one trade, 4 or 5. Right now, if I made the great trade you did, I can move some of them more aggressively. I could have left some of them at break even. So allowed me to even survive some type of a volatile stop loss hunt and still have a piece of the trend that I kind of correctly anticipated. So kind of for next time, try to do that. Give yourself maybe multiple positions, at the entry point. Doesn't mean you go 3 times the size. I'm saying it's the same size. You break it up. But for now, just hang in profit, and great job, dude. That's fantastic. That's great job, dude. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Cheers. All right. Let's see. Up next, we have Hesh. Good to see you again. What's up, man? Sorry, Iron. I'll get you next time.
My man?
What's
doing
up,
well?
Hesh? How you doing?
Doing great. I just wanted to say something real quick. First of all, I had the pleasure of actually purchasing your book and reading it, and I have two points to make here. Number one is, first of all, I don't know you on a personal level. So guys, what I'm about to say is, completely irrelevant to what Cheds think. I think that you should definitely purchase the fucking book called Trading Wisdom. I read it and I regret not reading it before. It has a lot of great nuggets of information that you can utilize. It's $50 on for the hardcover and $10 for the Kindle. um, I made huge mistakes, guys. Huge mistakes that made my life miserable for a period of time. And once I read the book, I wish I read it earlier. So a lot of these questions that you're asking, Big Chads, you can find a lot of answers for them on the book here, on the book, which you can find on Amazon. Um, Chads, I just want to share with you a quote that I read that really kind of resonated with me. It was fucking brutal. So in lesson 9 of profit taking, it says when you're excited about your trade that you take a screenshot to send to your buddy, that is probably when you should sell. Guys, when one time I made huge amounts of money, I took a screenshot and sent it to one of my buddies. And as I was sending it, within 10 minutes, fucking life turned around for the worst. So there's a lot of great nuggets in that book. I really, really, really advise you for your own benefit, nothing else, that you should purchase this book. It has a lot of great wisdom in it, just as it says on the cover. And now that I'm done with this, which is not a promotion, it's a sincere suggestion. My second suggestion, or my second question for you, Chats, is what do you think about the people on Discord or otherwise that try to make up challenges? Is copy trading like a good strategy for beginners, or do you think it's like detrimental at the end of the day for someone that's trying to have what's the word, training wheels on the side if they're beginners? And that's it. Punching out.
Wow. Thank you. I'm so glad. Like I know the book resonates because like I've done it, and you read the book and you like, and so thank you.
I'm
And again, thank
sorry.
you.
It probably came off a little bit forceful, but this is just how much impact the book really had on me. So I just really want to express how beneficial the book is, and I really, really recommend it to the people. And once again, a disclaimer: I don't know Chad's besides anything else besides joining his spaces. So for your own good, you'll probably lose $500 on trade. 50 fucking dollars is nothing. Please read the book.
I love it. Thank you, man. That's so kind. So, folks, there's actually a free version of my YouTube. I'm eventually doing the whole book. I've done 16 of 50 lessons so far. There's a playlist for trading wisdom, so go check that out. He talked about that lesson 9, profit taking. That's on my YouTube right now. So thank you. I love it, and like that book is special. I have a new book coming out. Hopefully, you'll check it out too. It's like quote, my favorite quote, one for every day, and my favorite quote each week, and it's a lot of the trading wisdom. So let's reset. Copy trading and challenges. Challenge is good. Anything that like motivates people to want to perform is good. Copy trading, like you're not learning anything. That's not something you like for a new player to learn. That's for you to maybe you get lucky if you find the right person to copy trade. You want some passive income. That's not You're not teaching you how to trade. There's nothing there really. Unless you actively manage it to where you are actually seeing what each of these traders are doing, and then you're kind of then yourself going and looking at the chart and what are they seeing, and you're trying to deduce it, and you're trying to puzzle through it. I mean, that I could see maybe that way, using it as a tool, but I think most people are just wanting to put some money in, so while they're at work, their money can work for them. Do you know what I'm saying? That's my opinion really on the copy trading.
Okay, so overall, if you had to, have let's say a verdict, would you say it's a good stepping stone, or would you say there's a better path for a beginner?
Well, it's a net positive over the concept of it, but there's a much better path for a beginner, of course. You trade journaling with micro-sized trades, a little bit of skin in the game, journaling your trades, trying a thesis, sticking to your stop loss, putting in the work, watching the videos, reading the textbook, practicing, doing it yourself. Because in the end, like the answer is inside. It's always inward. It's you. That's your solution. That's your problem. That's where the blame goes. That's where the victory belongs to. So you have to be able to earn it yourself, make it happen for yourself, rely on no one else. So you follow people on Twitter and you think they're amazing, and all of a sudden they're on a terrible streak, or they got lucky, or you don't know. Like, you can't rely on other people. You have to do it for yourself. So copy trading is not going to get you to the promised land, but I think it's a net positive. Okay.
Perfect. Really appreciate your response, and once again, I appreciate your overall contribution to the space. Thank you so much, man. Take care.
Love you, man. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
You as well. Thanks.
All right. I mean, how do you top that? It is a cool book, but check out the free version on my YouTube first. Iron Giant, what's happening, man? Good to see you. What would you like to say? Thank you for waiting patiently. Iron Giant, I'll give you a 5 count, and then I'll check with Magnate, and we'll get back to you. Spartan, just wait a moment. Yo, Iron, what up?
Sorry, bro. My mic was muted. I didn't see.
I figured. It's okay.
All good. My question is, entering a trade once your thesis has been revalidated, what are you looking for? Let's say you're going for a short. Are you waiting for that confirmation to come and entering the price a little bit lower than when you originally bought? How do you go about it?
If my thesis is revalidated, like, I'm willing to get chopped out a little bit, but I'm not going to sit there all day, because the more you get chopped out, the less valuable that level is as a pivot. So I'll try two times, maybe 3, but usually just 2 is my maximum.
Yep.
I'm not gonna get chopped around all day. So, and that's why sizing is key. Like, you don't just come in with your full position, right?
Yep.
Because then all of a sudden you get pissed. Like, oh, why did I do that? And now you're like, your next move is gonna be bad anyway, because you're like feeling bad about it. Like, trading is so. The results are just so directly tied to how you're feeling. Because if you're feeling good, you see an opportunity, or you see where one doesn't lie. And if you're not feeling good, you're like just trying to hope the next move works. So,
of course. And so again, on that, you've got stopped out in your first trade. You're looking for more confirmation in the candlesticks to re-enter that trade, or are you re-entering?
Maybe I was too early. I could be a little bit too early. This is a great point. If you look at the daily chart right now, and let's look at this recent higher high formed. And if you look at the Gravestone Doji, right, was notable. The Gravestone Doji on August 11th was notable. All right. It was notable for a couple of reasons. The Doji, after an advance of the upper Bollinger Band, but it broke the July 30th high and came back below it. So that was like a little bit of an up thrust. Bulls rallied. They pushed again. Then we had the outside bar on August 14th. So that in its right, really could have been the top candle. But then the next day it broke it again. Yes. So you had these it really tested your patience. But now you've had pretty clean follow through on 2 outside bars after an advance. You had a pretty good little warning there to take a little to be careful at least. So that right there, it shows you that you can spot the top, and you can understand that maybe it's going to be or at least the pausing rather of a channel. You can spot it, but you don't know exactly when it's going to come. It's within a few days you're going to get wicked out. So go in light, and don't mind trying a couple times. All right.
Sure. Love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time.
See you. What do we got? All right, I'm going to get a few up here. Please wait until I call you. I'm getting through them nicely. Not that many left. I'm telling you, this is your opportunity to ask me a question. No questions. Dumb. I want to hear from you. Let's see. All right, Vibes and Horizons. What's going on?
What's up, dude? Quick question for you. When you're about to short an up thrust and vice versa, long a spring, are you starting to scale in as soon as you see candle or volume weakness, or are you waiting until the price is back below the previous high?
It depends. It depends how patient I am. If I'm doing the right thing, I'm waiting till the up thrust happens. But I can sometimes anticipate it if I have a feeling. But maybe that feeling is just me boredom trading, right? I don't know. Oftentimes I'll have a sense that it is going to be a top because of sentiment, because of kind of just whatever the candle configuration is, and I may go a little early. But most of the time, I wait until it actually breaks below the prior high, or in the other case of a spring, breaks back up above. Because then you just put your stop loss, in that general area, and then whatever. You have a very like low risk type of trade.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks to you. Thanks for stepping up, man. Good to have you. So let's see. Only a few more of you. Mehmet, what is going on?
Hi, Chet. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Yeah, hi. I'm a member of the Bitcoin Live
Good.
service. I'm really following all your videos and learning a lot, of course. My question is about the long-term view, about the bear market. I think it was one of your formal live spaces edition, and your co-host, what was his name? Big Cronis or something? Your
Big
friend?
Jonas, yeah.
Yeah. And you were discussing about the possible bottom and how it would be forming, and there was a comment about the $10,000 line. If it would be breached, it will be disastrous. I understood, and I didn't understand why it was so um, disastrous for the future of the Bitcoin. Could you
So
please
if we're thinking about, and thanks for being a member. We'll really appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening to the spaces and coming up to speak. If you go back to March when I first talked about this, in BTC was at like 45K, and I first talked about the fact that I thought it was going to break below 20K.
Yeah.
And I put out that video, and I could say it goes here, and then quick test, and no support. And I really said, 12 to 14K seemed reasonable to me.
Yeah.
So that 12 to 14K is the top of a massive cluster of price.
Yes.
So we need to be trading above that cluster of price, which is why. And I'm not saying this will happen, but you can game theory some things out, and for whatever reason the price gets to that level, it tests it. Maybe it goes 12 to 15K for 4 months, and what if it breaks below it, and now we're below that, and then we're below 10K? That's a big psychological level, and you'd be below a major congestion area. That would be like really bad in terms of chart construction.
All right.
Right. MA 200 would really start rolling over on the weekly, start to roll over. So,
Yeah. So it will take much more time to recover. You mean, as I understand it. Am I correct?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by recovery. There'll be bounces in between. It could do that, and then have a really nice bounce to like 32K, and that would be a triple in price, and maybe that's the next bull market. Like, you never know. I think we have to have tempered expectations. Just because the past has done X, Y, and Z doesn't mean the next 10 years are going to do it. We just broke below the all-time high for the first time.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Nothing's guaranteed. No, we don't. Nothing's owed. We're not owed anything, right?
No,
you got to kind of reset the way we approach this. Okay.
All right. Thanks
Thank
for
you, man.
clearing it up. Thank you.
Good to have you up tonight, folks. So when I bring you up, I will wait till I unmute you. I just had to remove someone who kept unmuting themselves. Please wait till your turn. Let's see, Ben. What is up, Ben? Digital Onan. You're up next.
Hey, Chad. Thanks for taking the time. Just curious, how do you think about position sizing? And do you use a Kelly criterion, or is it more based on feel?
Position size. My
Yeah.
position size is directly correlated to how confident I am in a trade. And how familiar I am too with like the chart. So those are like two major things. But my position sizes are small. I mean, none of them are ever really more than a couple percentage of like my like trading funds, on whatever platform. You know what I mean? I'm not really swinging big, because I like to do multiple positions. I have a lot of small positions. I'm spread out. I'm trying lots. I'm always trying different things. Trying new markets, different markets, right? So, back in the day, I was much more concentrated and in different markets, and just like bigger swings and things I wasn't even familiar with. So, if I have a high kind of like I was very heavily into it on the January 24th bottom. All right, like May 12th, that day, May 12th, I had like 200 trades that day. Like when there's like when Bitcoin has those days, that's when you're deploying more funds. But like, a lot of the time there's not a really good trade. You have to wait for one. You don't always get that Ethereum breakout from 1290, right? That's like a high confidence trade. You can go heavy in that one, but those types of setups are few and far between. So, that would be my answer.
Do you find it difficult to manage? Like, do you have a certain amount of trades you have on your books, or do you try to keep below a certain number? Because I find it difficult to stay on top of multiple time frames if I go more than 7 or 8 positions at once.
Well, ideally, I get those stop losses at least into profit, or sorry, break even as soon as possible. And as soon as that happens, I don't even have to really watch it, right? So that's my goal, is to get that stop loss to break even as early as possible. And I'm aggressive with it. So I leave money on the table, but it's not owning my time. So I have to design a system where it doesn't own my time. Like, what's that worth, right? So I don't really let the trades own me, and it's money I can lose, and it's fine. It's all, so you have to balance it out. You got to find a balance. You can't let the trade own you, and you got to find a way around that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. These are difficult questions, and they're different answers for everybody. We're all built differently. You need to find your way to trade. I just talked about how I trade and what has worked for me. Spartan, thanks for being patient. What's going on?
Hey, Church. Thanks for the opportunity again. So my question
Sure.
is, we are waiting for 22.5 or somewhere around, right, on a daily basis. So from the
Yeah.
long side, so what do you see? Like a breakout of 24.5 and then you take long, or wait for
Why are you
25K?
thinking so far ahead? Why are you thinking so far ahead? Why are you?
Just
I
to,
don't understand. We haven't even got into 22.5. I don't know if we're going there. Like, that's what you watch next. You don't
okay.
just assume it's going to do something before it's even gotten there.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. Watch the
Okay.
price interaction with that level. If we get there, we're trending in that direction, but maybe we don't get there. I mean, let's not, the more you start to project out 2-3 moves, all of a sudden you're not paying attention to what it's doing right now, and you miss a clue.
Got
All
it.
right.
Got it.
Stay
Yeah.
focused
Yeah.
on right
Yeah.
now.
Got it. Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Good. Thank you. Well, I know the feeling. Yeah. Don't do that. Elijah, what's going on?
Hi, Chad. Thanks for the space.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, like, okay, so I'm kind of new. Just entered the market like 2001, so pretty new to crypto, and I don't trade. I started out just DCing in some of the coins that I like. But just a question on TA. I've been looking at your tweets. You use more like moving averages and Bollinger Bands. But do you use Elliott waves and
No.
Fibonacci levels?
Occasionally, but not really. There's great traders who do use those things, but no. So my method is, if you go to my YouTube channel, which I would encourage you to do, both you can find, not just both, but in addition to the free version of my book, I have a playlist called Masterclass Webinars. They're like an hour each, and they explain my entire setup. It talks about how to identify a trade, risk management, volume, candlesticks. I mean, these are like, it's just unbelievable stuff if you want to learn to trade. So go there, and kind of that will get you what you're looking for, and you know exactly what I use and what I don't use.
All right. Thanks a lot, Chad.
Thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate that. Thank you for stepping up. I really enjoy the people who step up. Sean, what's up, Sean?
Hey, Chad, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's going on, bud?
Great. Good morning, mate. I'm a Bitcoin
Morning.
Live student. Thank you for always your positivity and your education. I'm really enjoying it and enjoying your book as well.
Thank you.
Just wanted to touch on something really quickly for one of the guys, the previous sort of messages there about the trades kind of owning his time and constantly checking the charts.
Yeah.
I got into crypto last year. Didn't really know what I was doing. Wasn't an investor or a trader, and see everyone around me making all this money, and YouTube and Twitter, all that noise making money. So I went in pretty heavy, actually way too heavy. Made a bit of money to start with, and then tried to catch a knife with Luna. What a big mistake! I set a limit order during the middle of the night. A cheeky kind of big bid. It filled, went straight through it, no stop loss. And in the space of a few hours, I lost about 60% of my net worth. Very, very painful time for me. One of the biggest lessons I found was trying to find if you're a trader or an investor. If you believe in investing, if you believe in Bitcoin and that's what your thing is, you shouldn't need to look at the charts every day. You shouldn't need to look at every 5 minutes. If you're a trader, it doesn't matter if you've got the bottom, it doesn't matter if you've got the top, it doesn't matter if it's 14K, it doesn't matter if you wake up tomorrow, Bitcoin's 100K. Because if Bitcoin's 100K tomorrow, you're probably going to short. So it's always opportunity in these markets. So there's no real panic to get in and get out, enjoy your time off. But my main question for you, Cheds, is I'm a big sort of believer as well that Ethereum is holding the markets up at the moment. Whatever happens post-merge, who knows, could go up, could go down. But when people keep sort of defining key levels, Bitcoin's going to 28K, Bitcoin's going to 100K, it's going to 12K. Do you feel that there's a lot of manipulation in the market that kind of cuts those levels just before you get there?
All right. So many thoughts. First of all, I empathize with that, not exactly what you just did, but like I remember in the last probably like 8 years ago, I rode something to zero, and like it was like a stock that was getting delisted, and I convinced myself that like the market didn't really know, and I like believed some like chat room theory that it was gonna like emerge in like a different form. Like I rode like a big position to the next day's zero, and that took me a while to kind of process. So so that's what like you need. As a trader, you have to survive those mistakes. And you have to make them and really feel them to learn from them to not make them again. And that's why position sizing is key, especially when you're learning to trade. Ethereum holding up the market, I think definitely. And then I forgot the last part of your question because I got so wrapped up in answering the first part.
It's just mostly, when there's a narrative out there like last year, everyone's going, Bitcoin's going to hit 100K. Now this year, Bitcoin's going to hit 28K, or it's going to hit 14K. Do you feel that there's so much
manipulation?
Yeah.
So yes, I remember my thought when you asked the question. Yeah, I mean, look, that's why you have up thrusts and springs. You think about a double bottom. You've heard me, use this analogy in the videos before. You think about a double bottom where the second low is a lower low, and those are like the best ones because that's the stop loss trigger on people who use the first bottom. So you always are just thinking the market's going to try to screw over whoever thinks they see something here. Peter Brandt talks about this. I had a great interview on my YouTube channel. Peter Brandt's one of my colleagues at Bitcoin Live. I mean, somehow I'm a colleague of Peter Brandt, who's a legend. We had an interview on my YouTube channel, and he talks about, I asked him, because I read in his book about how he said, 10 or 15 years ago, he said that charting was not as reliable as it was 20 years prior. And I said, well, how about now? Is it even less reliable? And he said, yes, because he thinks more people are looking at the patterns, and there's quants, and there's all these stop loss runs. And so like, that's why if you're just always expecting the market to fake you out, you're going to do a little bit better. And then look and just play those fake outs, because those momentum reversals like springs and up thrusts are just great trades. So that's my thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that, at sort of those key psychological levels that we're going to 28K, or I'm now thinking, well, if we make it there, I'm going to start a short at 27K because we possibly won't make that. Talking about
what's your stop loss though? When is that idea wrong? Right? You got to, if you can define that, then I could maybe bless it. I mean, you don't just start. What's your stop loss? Because that's remember Luna.
28.5.
Yeah, that's reasonable. That's totally reasonable. I mean, I think the downtrend it still has an argument until it flips the daily MA 200. So 28K still has a couple thousand, between that, right? I think was it like 30K. So 28K is big, but just above, right? Just like it did back in the end of March. So all right, man. Yeah, we got to see what happens. Watch the higher low 22.5, and see if we continue to follow through off of these outside bars. So thanks for stepping up, man.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, bro. All right, Sean. Stefan, what's up, Stefan? What would you like to say?
Hey, Chad. Big fan. Thanks for doing these spaces. So I've noticed a lot of your videos, content, you typically do weekly, daily, 4 hour, hourly time frame.
Yeah.
But then I've heard you talk a lot about, doing a lot of small positions and taking on a lot of trades,
Yeah.
kind of intraday and being a
Mhm.
pretty active trader day to day. So
Yes.
are you doing a lot of lower time frame
No.
on your okay, so you're doing
Those
most of
are
your trades still on the higher time frame charts, even though
those are low time frames. 1 hour and 4 hours a low time frame.
but you're
That's
not doing a lot of like 15-minute
no.
type of time frame on your
No.
daily
No,
trading.
I'll definitely go days before I look at a 15-minute chart. Like I'll look at it, but there'll definitely be days in between that'll go that low.
So would you? I know you mentioned like on the really high volume days, like
Yeah.
the May days, you've
1
taken
hour.
like over 100 trades on certain days like that.
1 hour
But
chart. No question. You go right to the 1 hour chart. It's always been true. After big volatility, which ones are making higher lows first? You can see which alts make higher lows first, start to close above EMA 8 first. As the relief rally continues, within days later, like they'll be the strongest alts. They'll be the ones that continue while the other ones have been faltered. So you just start watching 1 hour after volatility, and that starts to set the pace. I mean, that's the right time frame for me, at least.
okay, so yeah, just to be clear, then, so you're never looking at a 15-minute chart doing
No, that's not what I said. No,
okay.
I said, as I expressed it, I said I will go days without looking at one. What that suggests is that I'm looking at it, maybe, every other day I might look at it, but I really don't look at it.
So you're
It's very rare.
you're still taking a lot of trades just going off of hourly on the
Oh
day-to-day
yeah,
basis.
of course. That's hourly is low time frame. That's like volatile. Hourly is not like a long time frame. Hourly is like you'll get a lot of shitty signals on the 1 hour chart. So that's why 4 hour is like the most like agile one. Some people use 12 hour. Think about that, like a half day. That's decent. 12 hours decent too for a time frame. For kind of a swingy or kind of you really catch the move. But 4 hour, I like 4 hour a lot. 1 hour I think 1 hour is risky, man. And a lot of people 1 hour is probably the highest one they look at. So it's tempting because you think the new traders, they train themselves to think I have to nail the nut bottom, and if I get the exact time the price turns around, I can ride it, and I won't have to worry about where to put my stop loss, and it will be an easy trade, and I can grand slam it. So they're really trying to catch every minor move, and they get chopped out. So don't think that way. Go off the 4 hour. That will give you a really good guide stone. All right.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the question. Thanks for letting me kind of riff there for a bit. I'm Big Chad's on Twitter. Next up, we have Mr. Trader. What's going on?
Chads, what's up, man? So grateful that you brought me up.
Thank you for stepping up.
For sure, man. So just kind of looking a little more big picture in the markets and stuff, particularly the S&P. Just wanted to know like what your thoughts are on the price action in the last week or so on the SPY.
Yeah, I mean I've been watching more like oil a little bit, watching the dollar, Apple. I know S&P. What is it tagged the MA 200 underside? I mean it's just a really nice rally into I think that's the exact place that rejected in April as well. So I'm just I don't have to look too closely at it because I just see a downtrend that had a vicious relief rally up to the MA 200. It's like I've seen a million of those. So and because my thinking is above or below 200, I'm just so centered my approach. That's the trend. The 200 is the trend. So that's how I do a lot of my analysis in Bitcoin Live, which one to look at. I try to only trade with the trend. So I'm always looking at what the price is doing in relation to the MA 200. So when I see SPX, I'm like, okay, relief rally right up to the 200. It either flips it or it doesn't. I don't need to look at the minor levels in between. Like none of that really matters.
And then what about the VIX? Do you think that that's just kind of coiling up, looking for a big rip up, or what do you?
I don't really TA the VIX. I think there's definitely I've seen good arguments about whether you should or not. Is it a natural market? Is there supply and demand? I don't TA the VIX certainly, and I don't even really look at it. I kind of through my feed, some of the equity traders I follow, they will mention it. When it's a nice clean little orderly uptrend, you get a low VIX, and when it stays low for a while, you're expecting maybe you get some kind of washout day. I understand all that, but I don't that's not something I trade on. So I try to really not think too much about anything outside the chart.
Gotcha. For sure.
Other than sentiment, which I think a lot about. So.
Well, what are your thoughts just on overall sentiment? I feel like we should continue uptrend unless there's some bad news that comes out or something like that. I don't know.
Bitcoin?
Am I thinking wrong? No, just overall markets in general. Like I feel like
I mean that's a better. I'm not a good macro guy. The expectations of the Fed and what bonds are doing. I don't really am not like no one should pay or even not pay to listen to me talk about that stuff. We'll see. It's been a relief rally across the board. Equities have been generally correlated, right? But Bitcoin hasn't benefited as much as SPX and tech, and pretty much it's been a weaker correlation to the Nasdaq for BTC as of late. It's been underperforming. So is Bitcoin kind of leading the market? Like what's going on? I don't know. I listened to a great Spaces today, and everyone's got an opinion, and they all sound like great arguments. So if I was a judge trying to decide, nobody knows. That's why we got to wait. We wait and watch. We define our risk. Every trade has a fail point that we're going to stick to, and that will allow us to kind of navigate an uncertain market. I mean, Bitcoin's clear what you watch. Keep watching, daily EMA 34. Watch the 22.5 level, weekly 200, weekly EMA 8. You just gotta that's what's important. And then if you flush here, you watch, the recent lows. What happens when we get there? Talking about sentiment, what might cause a sentiment bottom would be the price dropping to 17K, 18K, and kind of just staying there for a few days, and then flushing below 17 intraday, and then everyone starts to give up, and then boom, it come back and kind of recapture it, and we get like a nice spring off 17. I could see that. That would be a beautiful setup for a bottom. So, but who knows if that's going to happen? I don't know. But in the meantime, let's wait and see. Does the broader market rally continue, or does it stall here? We'll wait and see. The dollar's bouncing, so the dollar strength has been not a good thing for Bitcoin. So we'll see if that has has some type of effect. We'll see.
Gotcha. Thanks,
man. All right, bro. Thank you, man. I'm just terrible at macro. I don't. All right. What's Nacho? What's up, dude?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good.
Hey, man. I was curious if you could single out your favorite setup. If I know there's a lot of variables probably in that question, but
yeah,
what would you say is like what perks your ears up the most?
For like a short, I like an up thrust. There's nothing better because it's so simple. It's so simple. It's just so simple. And
like an up thrust on a 1 hour or
no, more like a daily up thrust.
Daily, yeah.
And maybe I'm trying to time. The price could be at a key level, and I'm working off a 4-hour up thrust. That's fine, but like. If it's at a key level, but generally on the daily. But I really like a failed Head and Shoulders. Like Head and Shoulders is good because if you know how to play it, you play the completion, but you also play the failure. If you look at the move ADA made from $1 to $3, it was off a failed Head and Shoulders top reversal. When the right shoulder violated, it gave you like a 10 out of 10 buy signal. I'm writing a book. It's like two books down the line. It's a poker and trading crossover, and the thesis of it is ranking trade setups in the way you rank poker hands. And like one of the top setups is a failed Head and Shoulders reversal. So that's an example, something like that. Like failed momentum reversals are great plays.
Cool, man. I appreciate it, Cheds.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, man.
All right. We got a few more. I'm going to get to all of them. What's up, the big bull? What's going on? You ready?
Good evening, Judge.
Hi.
How are you, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So I have a question about the Bitcoin weekly chart I was looking at.
Okay.
And I noticed that if we drop to 22.4, then we will have an outside bar on weekly. What
Yeah.
does that mean on the high time frame?
Yep. That would be it'd be a bad signal. Really, it would depend obviously depending on where it closes would amplify the power of the signal, but outside bar would not be a good thing for bulls here, and we're kind of close to it.
Yeah.
But listen, you could forgive an outside bar. Let's say it happened tomorrow, and then Saturday you had a really strong reaction off 22.5K level. I'm going to mute you just because there's a little bit of a background music. Let's say we have form the outside bar, but then we bounce off 22.5 and we show a strong reaction off the higher low. Then you wouldn't mind the outside bar because it showed buyers stepping in, right? So you have to contextualize all of these signals, right? It's very hard to just apply it in one case exactly to the other. You have to look at it all contextualized. So thank you for your question. All right.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I hope you have a good evening. Thank you for stepping up tonight. I appreciate that. That's it. Just a few left. Kingdom Labs. If you want to get in, folks, I'm wrapping this up because there's no one else. Everyone's been called up. What's up, Kingdom?
Assalamu alaikum, brother. I want to say that there is no such thing
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
There is no such thing as bear market in Saudi Arabia. Max bidding.
I love it. How you doing tonight? All right, that's that. Well, everybody adds their contribution. What's up, Jay Broussard? What's going on? Want to make sure Twitter can access your microphone. We are wrapping this up. Jay Broussard, while you get ready, let's get BS in here. Austin, BZZ.
Hey, Chads, thanks for having me on. So earlier you
Sure.
mentioned how like the S&P 500 is at a pretty critical level, right at the 200. What do you look for in terms of confirmation of either a breakout or a rejection? Like at what point do you classify it as confirmed breakout or reversal?
Probably has to confirm on a daily chart, but I'm trading intraday, and I get this question a lot in Bitcoin Live. I'm entering. I don't wait for a close to enter my position because I'm a day trading during the day, so I'm entering in like a 1 hour or a 4 hour. But it's going to confirm on a larger time frame. It's going to confirm when the breakout level you just played, it holds on a support retest, right? The price will confirm it later, or it will become violated. So there's multiple ways it can be confirmed, right? And it's dependent also on how much time and attention you can put into it.
So if you're looking at it on a higher time frame, are you looking for a throwback that gets held at support in order to say it's confirmed, or is it
well, what's the
day
trade?
or two
Confirmed
close?
what? Like, what are we saying? Give me like theoretical here. Like, what are we trying to confirm really?
That it's a successful breakout of above the 200 moving average, and expect to go past back
so listen,
to retest all-time highs or something like that.
So there's different ways. Classical charting, you've got different ways. You can have time filter. You could confirm by saying that, like, if the price is above it for 5 days, that confirms it. You could say if it closes twice, or how about 3 closes for a more conservative method. There's a percentage price move where it's like if it goes whatever 4% above it, it's confirmed, right? So there's all these different confirmation methods. For me, I would be like, I want to see like at least 2-3 closes above it, and that would start to constitute kind of a confirmation. But every confirmation is ready to be undone. I mean, that's the other name of the game. It could close 4 times in a row, and the next day just dump. I mean, and then it's a deviation, and then all of a sudden now you get a great signal in the other direction. So be prepared to take the exact opposite of your trade if it fails, and especially if it fails in a spectacular fashion.
Okay, thank you. That helps a lot.
Cool. Good to hear it. We got Philly. What's up, Philly? Philly M. I'm going to bring you everybody who wanted to speak is coming up. Yo, what's going on?
Nice to speak to my old fellow cancer survivor. I've just got a little question for you.
Oh, blessings, brother.
It's just, well, if TradingView only gave you 3 indicators, which would you use to trade?
EMA 8.
Yeah.
Bollinger Bands.
Yeah.
MA 200.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm just going to go put them on mine now. Told you it was a quick one. Thanks, Chad.
That's a great question. Right to the point.
Thanks, Chad. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, friend. Stay strong, man. Wow, I love you guys. Jay Broussard, have you figured out your microphone?
Hey, yeah, sorry about that. This is my first time doing this, so but I enjoy listening to you talk, man. You kind of slow everything down, you know. But
thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I don't have like a technical analysis question, but
good.
Just more of like I use MetaMask, you know, to swap for coins. And
I've never done that.
Oh, you've never done that?
Nope.
I'm
so micro specialized in Bitcoin price. I try not to mess around with stuff. Would take me forever to understand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I mean, you know, there's like multiple chains, right? You know, like Polygon and Ethereum.
I understand there's like level 1 and level 2, and there's like DOT, Uni, and Sol, I guess, or like, you know, gateways to other projects. I understand
like,
that.
You know, like some coins have like an address to use to swap on those chains, right? I was just like,
I don't even know. That doesn't mean anything to me, honestly.
Oh,
really? A little bit. I mean, it means a little bit. I mean, I understand that they create an ecosystem, and I understand that. So there's your micro ecosystem. That's how I conceptualize it. I think it's great. I think it's fast moving, and it creates. I just only care about a price and a chart volatility. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I really, you know.
Yeah. I just didn't know if it mattered for, you know, using a specific chain for you know, swapping for a coin.
That I don't know anything about, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but
it's all good, man.
You know, which is great about this space. We're all kind of, you know, we're all trying to get at it from a different direction.
Yep. You know, I mean, I haven't been following you for too long, so but I'm not really.
If you want to trade, or you wanted to trade, or you're just kind of happy to be in the space?
I'm just, you know, like I can't trade, man. Like I've been in the market since 2009, and well, like the stock market, you know, and like I was not successful at it. I lost like you know, thousands of dollars, dude. And after I got out of the military, and like it just, I don't know, I just had the wrong approach and like wrong idea and mentality.
And first of all, thank you for your service. You know, I always say, like, nobody like picks up a guitar and can play like Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
So we got to like understand, like, it sucks, but it was to be expected. And so everybody's got to go through that. Check out my YouTube. You might find some of it enjoyable.
Yeah. I'll look at it.
All right.
I'm trying to, you know, just take my time now and just be patient.
Don't
really,
rush it. That's really smart. Soak it up. Find your kind of lane. And good to have you.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. All right. What's up with Thor in the house, or Tornado Man? Tornado Man, your time to shine. What is up, Tornado Man?
Cheds.
Hello.
Can you hear me? This is crazy,
what's going on?
Man.
Oh,
You're
it's
never
crazy.
doing those spaces when I'm available to even log in and chat, so this is cool.
You made it.
I had a question for you. I sent this out to you on Twitter today. I know you can't answer everybody all the time, but I had a question about like the confluence of like when you've got the EMA 8, the EMA 34, and the MA 20, all kind of like in the same spot. Is the major trend, is that what kind of dictates whether or not that's going to bounce or bust right through? Or what typically happens when those three are just in the same area like that?
It's just a bigger data point. It just gives that level of more importance. It allows you something it should hold. You know, it's a major test, the confluence of moving averages. It makes it just a more important level. And it's not what it should do necessarily. You know, it should do X, Y, or Z based on what's happened in the past. You know, like if it bounces off the 34 and then eventually the 34 catches up with the 200, if it's still bouncing off the 34, it should continue to bounce off of it, even though it's now grabbing the 50, the 100, the 200, whatever. But really, there's no should unless it's been giving you a data point, right? Things are resistance or support until proven otherwise. But if it hasn't tested that area yet, you don't know what it's going to do. But it makes it a big level, so you can kind of structure your trade above or below it.
Okay. I just wasn't. It just seemed like it was either like, okay, this is a really easy area to get through and
Well,
create some
what are we
support
looking
or
at? What
resistance.
time frame? And what are we looking at? What are we talking about?
I'm driving, but a little earlier today, I was looking at the 12-hour chart, and they weren't all close together, but I think they were all within a few $100s.
I mean, they've been going
And
sideways, but now we're getting a little. They're starting to roll over. The 8's rolling over the 20 and the 34.
yeah, I saw right before I left that it lost the daily 34, and
Yeah.
now it's below the weekly 200, and
Yeah.
so it looks like it just kind of fell right through that confluence of those averages.
I mean, it's not good. I think you have to be, even though we closed above the weekly 8, we had to be on guard for a deviation, given what it did back at the end of March, early April. Did the exact same thing. So, it's one of those things where we knew we were at like a big spot. When we did that, it was the only third time we closed above the weekly EMA 8 since November. So it's like definitely a pay attention type of level. And then the daily outside bars were like a prelude
Right.
to this follow through. So
Can
let's
I
just
ask you one more question?
Sure.
Do you follow or pay attention to fair value gaps at all? Is that something that you?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
I couldn't even really tell you what that is. So
It's just something I picked up from Trader Main. I know you guys have had
dude, he's a great
podcast.
trader. Trader Main is
Right.
up there. He's really good.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
all right.
I appreciate it, Chad. Thanks for all you do.
Appreciate you. Thanks
really
for being
enjoy your stuff.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Just a few more. I'm gonna power through these though. Gaines, son, what's up?
Hey there, how's it going, Jets?
Good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Hey, I just had a quick question in terms of if you had any opinions or what would be your thoughts on the 4-year cycles. I've been kind of dabbling in all of the theories of price action and whatnot, and that's just one I would kind of like your opinion on. I don't know if you follow it necessarily, but
No, you know who Bob Lucas is?
Oh yeah. I'm actually I'm actually one of the students on Bitcoin Live as well.
All right. See, I want to see who I'm dealing with. I know I've seen you before, so I'm just but you know me. What do I say? You've seen my question. You know what I'm going to say. I think.
More or less, but I guess I wanted a more straightforward approach instead of just kind of guessing what the answer
Here's
would
what I
be.
say: is I don't talk about it a lot because I haven't really studied it a lot. Okay, I studied cycle theory to pass CMT1, and I was like, what are these terms? I don't know what they mean, but I learned it, and now I kind of forgot it at this point. Bob, it's like I have a guy who's really good, who's like part of my squad. Like that's his expertise. So anytime someone asks me, I'm like, well, let's see what Bob says. I understand the price, has anticipation of the halvening. I understand that. If I were to answer the question, though, maybe to add a little more value, I'd say we have to look at what's happened on the weekly 200. We have evidence of weakening long-term trend, broke below the last the all-time high. Haven't done that before, so maybe we don't do what we've kind of done in the past. Maybe it's not the 4-year cycle anymore. Maybe it's a lengthening cycle, as some people have referred to it. So, there's from what a cycle theory says, which is based on cycles. There's harmonics. There's a method to it. It's a tool you can add to your toolkit. You become a cycle trader, and then there's the kind of the more abstract, looking at what Bitcoin may or may not do based on its own halvening cycle and based on kind of other things that maybe don't apply to a more traditional model. So, I don't really know. It's not something I talk about a lot, as you know, but that's what I would say.
Oh yeah, but that's actually great insight. It's just a kind of picking at your brain a little bit, see what's in there,
Leave a little bit. Leave a little bit for the next video.
Right. Will do. But yeah, that's apart from that, just a quick question, just this follow up. In terms of the Bollinger Bands, whenever you see it price action poking above or below the Bollinger Bands, what's your gut reaction to that? Do you immediately start a play, or do you analyze a little bit before making any actions?
Well, it depends if it's the first time it's hitting it or if it's kind of riding it. If it's the first time it's hitting it, it's okay, good. Do we have some volatility here? Maybe I'll start to pay attention. It makes all the signals, better. If the price has been channeling from the lower to the upper Bollinger Band, yeah, now I'm definitely starting to look at what the price is doing. Maybe I drop to lower time frame, kind of all that stuff we talked about. So I'm definitely paying more attention. Yeah, definitely paying more attention to it when the price is at it, just about to test it, and certainly below it. And then when you have deep deviations below it, I'm really paying attention because when you have these big bear moves, it's really hard to jump in and get a position. But when you're that deep below the lower Bollinger Band, usually you get a little bit of a bounce, even if you eventually continue lower. So it's a really good tool, especially when you get like big movements outside of the Bollingers.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's great. Thank you a lot for that.
Thanks, man.
Just I was wondering because I saw on the monthly for BTC that it had touched actually the lower Bollinger Band.
I don't think the monthly chart's long enough to look at.
No?
Nope, it doesn't have an MA200.
It's
too young. It's too young. I think the weekly chart is the longest time frame that, the way I'm being kind of strict to the book, weekly is the longest you can use.
All right, I got you.
All right, brother.
Well, thank you very much for everything, man.
Thank you for stepping up.
Yeah, have a good night or day.
See ya. So we're gonna wrap it up. We got two more. Let's get through them. Keystones. So, folks, these are the last two keystones. What's going on?
Hey, no, thanks for letting me up to the space again.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate all the great advice you've been giving in regards to trading. This is less so of a trading question. It's more sort of like a general attitude. When I've been in this space, I see people like you who are like really helpful, with wanting people to do well. And then I also see like other traders that are like, oh no, it's all about zero sum. For me to win, someone has to lose, and they're like very cutthroat about it.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like, what's your attitude?
So in poker, they say there's a phrase in poker called "don't tap the tank." Right? It's like don't tap the tank. What does that mean? Don't tap the fish tank. Those are the fish at the table, and you're the shark, right? Don't tap the tank. Don't mess with the fish. Let them be fish. So that's, sorry to jump in, but that came right to mind. Where it's like, why are you? And one of my good friends, like we had drinking, and he had this long debate with me about how like I'm teaching too many people. Like I'm gonna have no edge because I keep teaching people. I'm like, dude, I'm like a drop in the bucket, drop in the ocean or whatever, and it still doesn't matter because there's so many different methods and disciplines, right? So the market, you need market participants, and it's good to educate people because you need them to stick around and still be able to trade. You need volume. You need market participants. If everyone gets wrecked, they're not going to keep playing. But if they've, maybe had a few small losses, maybe they can have some small wins and kind of stick around. So I think it's good if everyone had like a baseline of knowledge and had the ability to keep trading.
Awesome. No, thanks for that sort of insight.
Thank you. Hope you have a great evening. Great question. Thank you, my friend. All right, let's go. Robo Man, what's going on?
Cheds, love your work, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do for this community.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hey, man, we've been puking ever since you started this. What's going on?
I put in a couple calls. And I mean, it's follow through. You've got momentum. You've got follow through. It kind of started to roll over a few days ago, and every time it's done this, it's bounced in this channel 22.5. If you get there, you should be buying, because it's bullish above and bearish below. If this is the bottom, then you need shakeouts because they kind of reset things. The only way to go higher is to do stuff like this.
Right. So 2 questions. Number 1, I know that you've been working on a new book with your favorite quotes.
Yeah.
Didn't know if you had any new knowledge you wanted to drop on everybody tonight for a new favorite quote.
There's been a lot. You've seen me tweeting them. Since I've started the book, I probably came up with like 50, 60 new quotes. and a lot of them are saying the same thing, but a lot of them are saying different things. I think I put out one today. May or may not make the book, but I talked about focus on your health first, because it doesn't matter. Like, if that's not right, like, trading, relationships, work, that's not going to work. So it was just one of those things where I was feeling healthy and put out like a general, like, that's not the best example, but there's been some really good ones I put out recently that aren't necessarily on the top of my mind, but you'll see it soon. Yeah, let's see if I have any left in bookmarks. I bookmark them and I throw them into the. I mean, one of them was like, okay. It was like, I'd rather miss a move than be on the wrong side of one and have to face the music. And it's like things I've said a million times before. Basically, like, you don't have to rush into a bottom, right? Because you're going to get chopped up. So I'd rather miss a move than be in the wrong side of it. And this is what that's. So a lot of these things, these quotes are about just trying to peck away at the right mentality, like reps on the weight machine, at like the right mentality of how to approach these things. Because that's the real battle, is you against like your bad habits.
Right. Right. And
What
then
else you got?
I guess just one last question. I've seen you do a lot of relative strength analysis.
Yes.
Within cryptos. Do you ever do relative strength analysis across different asset classes? And are there any specific items that you like to look at?
I look at it a little bit, but I'm not comfortable enough with markets outside of crypto to make that call yet. I really just I've eat, sleep, and breathe kind of the crypto markets now for several years, so I get strength, and it's not that hard. You just look at what things are doing, in relation to the rest of the market. But I don't have any like insights on doing the same thing in other markets. It's the same, but you have to understand what each stock is in within each category and which one's outperforming the other ones. Looking at big tech versus little tech. I mean, that's like a very nuanced thing. I don't have that experience, right? So I don't talk about that stuff in terms of relative strength. But I think a lot about the Bitcoin chart. So I know if an altcoin is stronger than Bitcoin, right? I don't look at BTC pairs. I don't need to, because I know what the Bitcoin chart looks like. So I can just compare those two charts in my mind, or at least side by side. And that's relative strength. So I guess that's how I would say I would answer that question.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I'm getting tired. Doing my best. I'm getting tired. I'm fading here, but we're gonna go to the end. Let's make them quick here. Michael, good to see you again. Please be quick. Nice to see you again. We'll get through it. What's going on, Michael? Real quick, we'll get both of you guys in here. Michael, can you speak? We don't hear you. Alpha Beta, what is up? Either of you two. Otherwise, I will wrap this up.
Hi, Cheds.
Yo.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Talk to me, friend.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to check. I'm a new trader. I'm also I've been become a member of Bitcoin Live. I think one of my biggest challenges is handling emotions and FOMO. Still FOMO. And related to this is buying at when in breakout and buying at support. Because when I take a look at your reports, automatic for me is if I see a support level, I try to buy in on a bounce back. Is that the right thing?
Regardless of what the price does at that level?
Well, if it shoots through, no. But if it bounces back, I automatically buy in.
Okay.
So I just wanted to understand, because sometimes I think as a new trader, when you open a trade, I can feel the emotions of excitement. It's almost like there's a certain gambling instinct to it. Which
so, have you read my book? Or
no,
I've
seen some of the some of the videos. But yeah, I'm based out of Manila. I haven't ordered your book.
Okay, salamat po.
Okay, salamat din.
Magandang gabi.
Yes.
So if you buy something and you immediately feel uncomfortable, you have too much money in that play.
Okay.
All right. number one. Number two, if you're excited, you're buying something, you're excited, you're probably gambling. It's probably like a stupid leverage trade, or it's probably like you're over anticipating a bottom, like you're forcing it, right?
Right.
Because like a really good opportunity, you have the confidence in it that you know you can manage it, and so you don't really get excited. You get more kind of like, let me go to work. You have to recognize when your mind, all right, now it's time to go to work, and I'm going to execute, right? I'm going to go into the arena. I'm going to risk my hard-earned money, and I'm be ready very quickly to admit my idea sucks. It failed. I'm out. You got to be temperate. You can't be excited. You can't be scared. You have to be confident. If you're not confident, then do nothing.
Got it.
Got it?
Got it. All right. Very helpful.
Thank you, brother. You keep at it.
Thank you, Chance.
That's fantastic. Last one, Michael. You want to try again? Oh, Michael, get you in here one more last time, Michael. See if we can wrap it up with you.
What's up, Cheds? Can you hear me?
Yo, thanks for finishing it up. Yeah,
absolutely, man. So I just wanted to get your opinion on where we're at in the market right now with BTC. I know you have 22.5 as a huge level here. Like you said, this is a very mature channel. So do you think
very mature, very mature?
Do you think if we break that previous higher low, do you think there's any importance to that, or at what level?
Yeah, that'd be really bad. That'd be bad for Bull's argument. That'd be bad for the chances of hitting 28K, and hitting the MA 200. I'd say it's a good chance the top's in for this move.
Mm-hmm.
At least 50%, at least 60%. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But, maybe that's a little bit premature. I mean, you got to break 22.5. You break 22.5, that's a problem. Right. You got to maintain higher lows. So we'll see, though. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't like what I see in the weekly chart, that deviation over the EMA 8, same thing we did in February, March.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like what we did before. So I'm going to give the edge in any kind of jump ball situation. I'm giving edge to the trend, the bear trend at this point.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you one more thing. What do you think the significance of this MA 200 right now? You think
it's big?
It's big, right? On a daily close level or a weekly close?
Both. Oh, yeah. Well, daily is where the last bear trend was stopped. Where the best bear bounce was stopped was the MA 200 daily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know that. So that's the last checkpoint in this bounce from 17.5. There's different checkpoints. Break 20K, 22K. Different moving averages you're breaking. The May 12th low, at 25.5, 28K, and then MA 200, which is around 30K. So there's checkpoints in the bounce. I mean, that's the final boss. I mean, that's the final boss of the bear trend, of the relief rally, is the daily MA 200, right? On that time frame, that's where it rejected last time. And the weekly chart's just important for the health of the chart. And we've been looking at the interplay with the price and the 200 and the time it spent below it recently, and how that's a deviation of what it's done in the past. Further evidence of kind of a weakening of the longer trend. So these are cautionary signs that we're observing, and they can be turned around. It often does look bad before it turns around, but I'm not going to ignore those things either. So that's what I'd say.
Okay, and if you don't mind, I just wanted to ask one more thing. I know you use Bollinger Bands. Other than the EMA 34, what are some of your go-tos that you have on your chart?
So you haven't watched my YouTube yet, right? You haven't watched the masterclass, which I beg everyone to watch. Go watch the playlist on my YouTube called Masterclass Webinars. I explain my whole setup, why I use it, how to use volume, what to look for, how to use candlesticks, simple trade setups. Every trader should watch that. So go watch that. It has everything you're asking me and more.
Okay, and what's it called again?
It's the playlist called Masterclass Webinar.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Cheds. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. So I got through everybody. That's it. Boom. Who did that? I just went through everybody. That was about an hour and a half. I had at least 50, 60 people up here. You folks are awesome. You're adding to the conversation. This is a recorded space. I will be uploading to YouTube later. If you've been sitting here and listening to the replay on YouTube, thank you. I hope you have enjoyed it. This is another great conversation. I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. For those listening live, please consider following me, and on replay, follow me on Twitter at Big Cheds. Please go to my YouTube, Cheds Trading, and hit subscribe. There's tons of great stuff there. It's these people asking these questions. I've already got these videos. I've made them for you folks. It makes my job easier, helps me answer questions. I can point people to educational videos. That's my book, Trading Wisdom. It's available on Amazon. It's done really well. And so for that, I want to say thank you. It's great to see that it's really resonated, and I'm really proud of it. You can get it for free on my YouTube channel. Check out the playlist. If you want to join the best-in-class educational platform for crypto, that's Bitcoin Live. I'm a founding analyst. I've been doing market reports for 4 years. It is literally a world-class team. You sign up, you get access to everyone's content. You get to hear from me twice a week, no matter what. Even on vacation, I put out a video. So anyway, thank you for listening to this Spaces. I hope everyone is doing well. The folks who are listening to, not just the folks speaking, the folks who are listening, thank you as well. I would just say next time, please consider hitting request. I'd like to hear from you. For somebody who didn't request today, maybe next time you'll think about requesting. And because it's really about you folks, that's how we get this conversation going. So anyway, I'm Big Cheds. I'll talk to you soon. Big Cheds out. That's it. Big Cheds back in. It's that was a Spaces from 5 days ago, August 18th, 2022. I love these Twitter Spaces conversations. I actually have 2 more of them to upload. I'll do another one tomorrow. Just lately, I've been saying to myself, I want to talk to people, and I get to go live. We get 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 people just hanging out. So if you are one of them, it's great to have you. And thank you for watching the replay here on Twitter. Again, of course, Big Cheds on Twitter, Cheds Trading on YouTube. Check out all the different playlists. Check out my book on Amazon. Get it for free on YouTube. And consider joining Bitcoin Live, best-in-class educational platform for crypto. Thank you very much. I will talk to you soon. Big Cheds out.